Well, it's about that time of year. It's prep work for the winter and the cold season. I've got some flat tires on this tractor here. We're gonna see if we can get that going. Now I need to do some prep work over by where the corral is gonna go and see if we can start getting ready for winter. Well, we've got a pretty good leak on one of the tires. I'm gonna have to take it off and take it into the tire shop, but I think it will last for what we got going on this evening. I need to get some mowing done down here, and then I need to get some of the maintenance done around the corral area. See what's been riding around on the tractor? He thinks he's the same color as the tractor. He blends in. He almost does. I think I figured out a game plan with this field here. I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do this fall is we're gonna take and come in here either with this tractor or another tractor that I can hook a brush hog onto it. And I'm gonna take and cut down all this Teresa Lespedeza, and that way get everything down to basically the same height so that the grass can kind of compete with it. And then I will leave them off this field and probably the field up top also, and I'll put them on that field there, which you can see is really, really good condition, probably next spring. So I'll house them up to the top of the hill, get all this cut down, and then probably leave them off of this all next year, because I've got enough ground that we can do that. I don't know if we're gonna get more animals this fall or next spring. We're trying to figure out where best the money is spent. It's all, you know, time and money, so it's a balance of taking and buying fencing, corrals, squeeze chutes, all that stuff, and then balance of you still need animals too. So you need operational costs, and then you've got animal costs too. So not sure if we're going to buy them this fall, but it will either be this fall or next spring will be the next lot. But in the meantime, we've got to get this in shape, and I've got to get that up there fenced. That's probably a good 20 to 25 acres up there that needs fenced. And then we have on the other side of this driveway here, that all needs fenced, but there's a lot of woods, so that's mainly pasture up there, and then you got pasture mixed with wood, so this is going to be the last thing to fence. I'll tell you what, it's been actually really nice out here lately. Typically it's really, really windy. We're located in southeast Kansas, and man, it's just crazy winds down here, but it's been really calm. The evenings have been cool. It's probably, I would guess probably 65 to 70 degrees right now, and just super calm. You hear the bugs going still, and it's just beautiful, beautiful weather. Hopefully next spring we should see these guys go into heat. I don't anticipate all of them going into heat, but hopefully at least half of them will go into heat. That's kind of what happened with my last herd with the calves. They kind of went, about half of them went into heat in their second year. So hopefully at least half of them go into heat and get bred by him, and all goes well. And then the following year we should start seeing some calves drop out of these guys. In the meantime, we need to focus on making sure that we get more animals, because 5 cows and a bull at maximum, that's going to be 5 calves a year, which is not enough to sustain the farm in the slightest, but it is a good way to get started. Black Feather right here, she is still hanging on to her last winter's coat. Everybody else has lost theirs, and they are already growing this winter's coat, and it's getting nice and thick. They are looking pretty healthy. The pastures are in poor shape, but they look healthy. We did end up getting a whole bunch more of these tires for the water system. We got them from a tire shop here in town. Well, close to town. We don't live in a town. But the rest of them came from a good friend of ours that runs a farm. And these tires here are just absolutely massive. These come off of like a loader and they are extremely heavy, but they're gonna work really, really good for our water system. I think we are somewhere up to the nature of like 20 of these. Definitely have our work cut out for us. We've got a lot of work to do. I've got to take and cut this rim out here, and then we'll place this wherever it needs to go, and then we will put a water spigot in the center, like a float valve, concrete the middle of it. So there's a lot to do when it comes to that, but we've just been basically collecting the materials needed for that whole project, and there's gonna be somewhere around half a mile of piping run, and then these water troughs are gonna tee off all the way throughout the pastures. I'm trying to get somewhere in the nature of probably about 40 different pastures on this place, if not more. It sounds absolutely crazy, and sometimes I feel like it actually is crazy, but what that will do is that'll allow us to move the buffalo from one place to another quickly, whether that's every day or every week, and that will keep them moving on the ground. It'll put fertilizer on that area, and they will take down that grass more evenly and then give that grass a better chance to rest. The difficulty with that is water systems. That's the biggest problem when it comes down to mob grazing or rotational grazing, or what they call holistic management, which is a term that I never heard of until I talked to a gentleman who I interviewed, Ken, out in western Kansas, and it's been very interesting, that kind of diving down that rabbit hole of what that means. And there's actually a lot of really good things in the holistic management that I've been kind of studying, and I think I'm gonna try to adopt a lot of it on this farm. A lot of it's stuff that we've already done already, but there's a lot of really good things in the holistic management principles that I think we're gonna adopt that I haven't been doing. Some of you guys have asked if we have cockleburs. That is a cocklebur plant, and yes, we do. Fortunately, there's not a lot of them, but we do have some of them. And here's another one here. This is what you're gonna see with ground that is damaged, like this field is. When you get damaged fields like this, what you'll end up doing is you'll get compact soil, and that compact soil will take and it will it's basically conducive for weeds, because they like this tight soil like cockleburs, and then the grass likes a loose soil, so then the grass starts getting pushed out. And what you end up doing over time is having an area that is, if you damage it, that when the grass dies, it starts getting compact with the weeds and everything, and it just gets completely out of whack, and you end up having a lot of work to do around the place. So I don't think this is too far gone. This basically was damaged before we came, and then this summer it got damaged. My fault, but we can get it back into shape, and I think in the next year or two it'll look pretty good. It'll look like that over there. Some of you guys have said that we need to take and run goats after the buffalo and see if they eat this teresa, which I think they would. The problem, you can see how thick it is here. The problem is goats and sheep carry a disease, and some of you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's called malignant catarrhal fever, if that's the right one I'm thinking of. And that, it's basically like a cold to goats and sheep, but to bison, their immune system is not built up to that, and so it can be actually detrimental to them. There's been multiple cases. A lot of it comes from sheep feedlots that's transmitted, but I believe there has been some cases of just goats in general or sheep in general transmitting the disease to bison. And you know, when you're running an operation like this and these animals are top priority, you don't take any chances and put goats or sheep on here if you know that chance that they could actually transmit that disease over and harm the animals. So that being said, we are going to be working on trying to figure out how to control this Teresa without goats or sheep. You know, last resort, we will spray this field to get it killed, but I am not a fan of spraying. I understand that there's people out there that spray and they'll argue for that, which is fine. I get it. I moved from the city to a farming community, and I've got a lot of friends now that are traditional farmers, and I have seen their point of view recently a lot better than I used to, I think. Not to say that I agree with putting herbicides or pesticides on the ground, but I understand it, I get it. I'm not gonna, you know, make any argument against it to them when they've grown up that way. Now, if you ask me and you say, you know, which way should you go, I'm definitely gonna say, you know, don't spray, don't use herbicides. I am of that thought process. But when it comes down to a field like this, and you have, you know, either no field for the bison to roam if you get to a point to where this Teresa just takes over and there's no grass, or you have the other choice as to spray it, you know, I'm probably gonna take the thought process of spraying it. But that being said, it's going to be last resort. I'm going to try everything in my power to get rid of it without spraying it. There's a couple things that I have been talking to some guys about, and they say that if you plant rye, one of the guys I interviewed on the last couple episodes, Ken, he actually explained to me that if you plant rye into the field, it will tend to crowd out the weeds and then the grass will come back. We are going to do some experimenting on this to see if that works. And then some of the other things I'm going to be looking at doing is to see if longhorn cattle will actually eat this. Longhorn are a lot more hardy, and they eat a lot more of a variety than normal cattle do, and a lot more variety than these guys do. Well, I shouldn't say a lot more variety, it's a different variety. So we are going to experiment on that, and we're going to kind of take it one step at a time. Sorry if that was a little long-winded, but just wanted to kind of explain to you guys what's going on the ranch, that we are actively trying to make sure things are taken care of for the animals, and that we have more grass for these guys. But yet, it's a process. Definitely want to do things responsibly. I don't want to put a chemical on the ground when I have another option of not putting a chemical on the ground. You know, whether you agree with putting the chemical on the ground or not, you know, everybody can agree it's all going to go down to the water table. So the least amount that goes down to the water table and affects the next generation, the better. So I really want to try to be responsible when it comes to that. So we're going to take other measures and to see if we can get rid of this nasty invasive weed without spraying it. So we'll see. They're doing good though. They have enough grass for this fall, and we will be feeding them hay in a little while, probably a couple months from now. Hopefully we don't have to feed them hay till December-ish, but if we gotta feed them hay into November, it will be perfectly fine. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this video and catching up with us. Leave a comment down below and tell us what you guys are thinking, and tell us your argument, whether you are for chemicals or against them, and we'd love to hear from you. Appreciate it. My name is Noah Gordon. We are Broken Arrow Bison, and we will see you next time. Got a pretty good slash in that tire there. I have to take that into the tire shop. I think that wheel has seen better days. We'll get it fixed.